Next thing I want to do, I want to add a groove between these slots. For this, I can select this face and click on a sketch so that I'm in a sketch environment. Let's zoom in a little bit and draw a simple line here between two slots. This line is going to be 90 millimeters, so I add a constraint of 90 millimeter here. Now the left point and the vertical vector are gonna be about 77.5 millimeters away from each other. 77.5, and this line is about 89 millimeters away from the horizontal vector. So I type in 89 here. Now by selecting this line, I exit my workbench and go to insert menu, go to stamping, go to curve stamping. I guess I haven't selected this previously, so let's see this. And by selecting this, I want it to be outward, so I click on this little arrow to change the direction. I can see the direction is outward. The height is gonna be only 1 millimeters, and the length is gonna be 4 millimeters. Radii are correct, so I do not touch them. I click on OK, and I can see there is a groove that comes out of this place. Now I want to replicate this, so I go to insert menu, go to transformation and select rectangular pattern and select this curve stamp and make sure that curve stamp is selected. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 instances. I need 6 instances, and the space is correctly defined because this is the space between these slots. So I click on the reference element and select this direction and click on OK. Everything is correctly defined here. Now I want to draw a very complex shape for power outlets and create this profile. So let's go up, and I want to go up and select this face. By selecting this face and going to the sketch environment, I want to draw this a little complex shape, and for this I need 2 axes because I want to make sure that my shape is correctly defined. So let's draw this axis, and another axis is gonna be vertical like this. Now by having these 2 axes, let's go to profile tool and start drawing from here. This is the first, second point. I want to come down like this, come down like this, go to left, go up, and go up and finish this. Now I don't want to have extra the extra constraints here. I want to remove this constraint as well. Now I want to have some constraints like this. This point and this point and this axis, they should have symmetry. So I add symmetry here, click OK. This point, and this horizontal axis again should have symmetry. And I want to do the same between this point, and this horizontal axis. Adding another symmetry here. I want to make sure that this is 40 millimeters. And the distance between these 2 lines are going to be 20 millimeters. So I type in 20. Now you can see that it doesn't work like this. I don't want to have it like this. So I guess I have to define some more constraints here. For example, I want to have an angle here between these 2, and this should be about 80 degrees, and it changes shape dramatically. Let's remove this angle for now and see what I should do for the rest of my job. I want to have distance between these 2 as it is over-defined. I don't want to have this. Let's see. I guess I need some constraints of symmetry between this point and this point, and this. And now I add another symmetry. Now I guess if I try to change the angle, it would not change it dramatically. And I can see that I need to have this point and this with a coincidence. And again, I do not need to have another coincidence because this is in symmetry with this line. And now that I have this, let's add another angle here. I want to have 80 degrees. And I guess this is gonna be 80 degrees and this is over defined, so I do not add this. Okay. Now let's select these two lines and add a corner. By adding this corner, I make sure that I have 7 millimeters. And selecting these two lines, add another corner with 7 millimeters of radius here. Now I have it. The only thing that remains is to move it to the correct place. And of course the distance between these two lines should be 22 millimeters. So I want to add it. Now you can see that I had this previously. I should change it only. Now it is correctly defined. Now I select this vertical axis and let's select this vertical vector here and add a constraint, and they should be 50 millimeters away from each other. Now by selecting this, you can see that the whole shape is going to move to the left. And this horizontal vector is about 170 millimeters away from these, and I change it and you can see that my shape is fully defined like this. So I exit my workbench. And I need to have another copy of this exactly down. So let's go and select this sketch and copy it, paste it on part body, and by pasting this, now I have the same sketch here, but I should double click on this and change this constraint to 135. And I can see that there is an exact copy of that sketch here. I exit my workbench and I go to insert menu, go to cuttings and select cut out, and up to last is selected. This is done. Another one, sketch 12 was selected. Go to insert menu, go to cut out tool and select up to last again and click on OK. Now you can see that I have two openings here. Now the next thing that I want to have is there is some profiles here that is going to be for air ventilation. I mean the air ventilation of power supply. So I select this and go to sketch environment. Now I want to have a cylindrical elongated hole and I want to draw it here. Now the first thing I will need is an axis. So I draw axis here and make sure that this is vertical. Of course this is not necessary, but I can go to insert menu, go to profile. In predefined profiles I can select the cylindrical elongated hole. Now I select the center here. Now I want to start the elongated hole from here and end it here. And you can say there is a coincidence here. I don't want to have it, of course, or I may have it. I can click here to end it, like this. Now, the first thing I want to do is this. I want to select this inner line and make sure that there is 15 millimeters of radius here. So this is going to be 15. The distance between these 2 points, the outer point I mean, here and here, they should be 18 millimeters. And I double click here, I type in 18. And let's select again this point and this point. It's a little hard to select them. And select this axis and make sure that there is a symmetry. Now I need to change the radius. So I double click on radius and make sure that this is 3 millimeters. So this is created like this. Okay, now I can exit. No, I need some more constraints first. The first constraint I need is the distance of this horizontal vector and the center of this. So let's select the center and add it. And they should be 155 millimeters. Now I select this axis and this vertical vector and make sure that this is 25 millimeters. So that's it. This is fully defined. And I can exit my workbench and select cut out tool. And it should be where I am. I am under generative sheet metal design environment. And I can find it from cut out here. And up to last is selected so that I can create a hole like this. Now let's rotate a little bit. I want to have several instances of this here. For this I can go to insert menu, select transformation, select circular pattern, and select this cutout. Now the problem is I do not have a reference element. The reference element can be one of the axes. I don't want to select these axes. Or it can be a line, and I want to create a line here that goes through this face. So I select create a line, and the type of line that I want to create is point and direction. So I select point and direction here. Now I need a point. I do not have a point here, so I right click on point and click on create point. Now by creating the point, I want to have this point as the center of circle, sphere, or ellipse, and I can select one of these arcs. Both will be the same, so I select this. Now you can see the point here. I click OK. The point is selected by default. Now I need the direction. The direction is going to be X direction that exactly cuts through the face. So I select X component. Now it can start from -20 and finish in 20. Just to show you what this is looking like. So I click on OK. Now I have the line, and you can see that I have a reference element here. Now I need to have 4 instances, and these instances should be 90 millimeters away from each other. And you can see that this is not aligned correctly. I can click on more, and now there is a radial alignment here that I can click on this, and you can see that now they are aligned correctly. Now I need to have a crown definition because I want to have several rows of this, and actually I want to have 2 rows. So I increase it to 2, and the distance between these two should be 10 millimeters. So I type in 10 here, and now you can see a preview of what I am creating here. I click on OK, and that's it. Now the replication is done, and that's very nicely created.